Hey everyone, this is Geeky Panda here on the Geeky Panda blog, ready guys with another gameplay commentary. This time I'm joined by TimeEnforcer Anubis from She's Lost Control Media.
Howdy.
Now, about 10 months ago, I made a video talking about MilSims coming to the PlayStation 4, Xbox One. What are the possibilities of it? Now, do know in that video, while it did have some audio issues, overall the point was still there. And now we're going to talk about it, because it's been 10 months, and the question still remains. Will the developers ever bring a MilSim or military simulator onto the current generation systems?
Yeah, so I think that with with the current advancements happening in gaming right now, we're talking VR, and and more we're seeing integration of between PC and the consoles. I think it can happen. It just it would take certain circumstances under which for it to happen.
The funny thing is that the original Xbox had Operation Flashpoint. The Xbox 360 and the PS3 had Operation Flashpoint Dragon Rising, which was definitely good. It was this is what to expect from MilSims,
Yeah,
almost, to Red River, which was just threw everything out of the window, honestly.
really. Yeah.
But nowadays, 10 months later, the possibility is still there. It's just developers, being on board with it. But, you got games like, if they ever announced Arma for the consoles, I would be amazed. But I don't think they'll do it because, again, look how the engine is. Look how the game is. There's so much issues with it still. The game is unstable.
Yeah, it's been buggy from the start, and like when you play a console game, you're really expecting it to be a
Stable.
polished
Yeah.
experience, at the very least stable.
Like the next game coming out that I think might have potential is Squad.
That could happen.
That I could see, but it's in early access mode, I believe, still, and it's not. It hasn't even fully released yet. So it's like to certain game developers I've talked to beforehand. It's like when I ever ask the question, "Are you going to see this game on this system or this platform?" They're like, "When we get there, we got to release it first on this one." That's usually the mentality of it. Is they have to release it first on the original platform they were planning to do, and then let's see what happens. Again, and also like, is there a demand for it? Like,
Right, exactly.
so many gamers, shooter fans prefer like the arcadey, like fast-paced shooter like Call of Duty. You got a good amount though who are Battlefield fans who prefer more the slower-paced one, and then you got some decent groups of for something of the more squad-based tactical like Rainbow Six Siege. Even though it's declining, it's still there. But again, like the problem is when you bring in a military simulator onto the console, it's you it's like people are gonna pick it up, but if they're not willing to learn, or if they're not willing to be patient and be slower pace, they're not gonna like it.
Exactly. And at the same time, we're seeing a big resurgence in PC gaming,
Yeah, like
and with that, that's bringing in all the people who back in the day would have been into like the really old Rainbow Six games, like Rogue Spear.
yeah, like,
So that's sort of contributing more to cultivating that market on the PC rather than on the console, where we've seen games like Rainbow Six Vegas take off, which is a lot more like the modern shooters that we're all used to on consoles.
well, let's even remember. Okay, you got someone who's willing to go through that. What about the controls with milsim games? There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of like look at Arma. There's so many buttons to do so many things. It's not even funny.
Yeah,
There's like buttons to change stances. It's not all. It's not just one button. It's
there's a button to step
several.
over fences.
Yeah, yeah. Like obviously mapping the controls will be interesting, but again, I think the main concern is that the mentality of the gamers on the consoles is definitely so much different than the PC. Like again, PC they want the hardcore simulations. They want something more realistic. They're willing to, you know, get early access, pay for it, start communities. The consoles, it's like again, like you said, has to be polished or else people will hate it. Like these people grew up on fast-paced action games. It's gonna be hard to get that slice of the pie.
Yeah, and then at the same time, the control system really just isn't conducive to the type of game that old Arma games and like older Rainbow Six games are. Because you're talking
Yeah.
a whole lot of controls, and at the same time you got games like Arma where people just have a joystick and throttle set up for when they're piloting aircraft and whatnot.
Yeah, let's also think of it this way, that again, gameplay is going to be different, where they think, oh, one man will control the tank and everything in it, and maybe a support guard. No, one man will probably like drive the freaking thing, another to man the gun, and another to do like there's several things.
And
like
that's even something to consider just straight up, because a whole lot of games have tried that where it's one man drives the tank, another man shoots the gun, and it really didn't work out. Like Command and Conquer Renegade was
God,
a game that
don't.
And
well, no,
it just didn't work out. People weren't piling into the vehicles like that, so they had to do it. One person's gonna drive the tank and do the gun, and the second person maybe gets a machine gun, but that's it.
Look at Renegade. Like, it's more arcadey. Like something like Red Orchestra, which had that feature. It was not that bad. People like you gotta. It's like the mentality. Like you gotta learn to. This is what you're doing. You are a pilot. You are a tank driver. You literally just fly or drive around. That is your job.
Yeah, it has to get into sort of a Tribes 2 mentality, where
That's
you
and
have
like
your role.
player classes will be much more important now. Like Battlefield, know your class, do your role, like, or else people will be pissed off at you. Like, hey, what the hell? You know. Even then, let's also look at. Okay, we got a military simulation game. That's a first-person shooter. How big is it? Are we talking like big, wide open maps with vehicles and all that stuff? Are you taking on another team? Are you going against bots? You know, like, again, these systems aren't like the PCs, where PCs, you can do a lot with it. You have so much more.
And I mean,
you know,
even
that
when
you can work
consoles
with.
have tried that, like remember Mag back for the PlayStation 3?
Oh, 256 players duking it out on the server.
Didn't really take off.
But the idea was there.
The
It did work.
The idea was there and it worked, but they couldn't make it take off like that.
Yeah.
It's
because it was
just that the console experience, just in and of itself, is much more encapsulated and like tighter fitting. So you need that smaller environment to really get that experience in there. With the PC experience, you're free to do whatever you want, go make huge maps and all that, because it's just that kind of environment where people have the hardware and people can run that. But when you're talking a console, everyone's got standardized hardware and whatnot.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's sort of a lowest common denominator thing, where in order to make it affordable, they can't put the highest level stuff in there, so everything's gotta be sort of one level below as far as that kind of size and scale.
That's why I think the game Squad would have a better chance, because it's concentrated on squad, tactical squad action gameplay. Like, maps are still big, but it's like tighter. Like, okay, we got a couple of squads, we're duking it out. They are planning to bring some vehicles. I don't think not too much, but it's just a tighter, more closer experience than something like Arma, where it's like, yeah, we got literally 5 miles to get to the next objective.
You have to drive to the firefight.
So again, it's like, with the patience level of the console gamer, they're going to be like, why am I playing this game that's taking so long? I want to be right in on the action.
Exactly.
Oh, one bullet killed me. That's bullshit. Where can I respawn? Oh, I gotta wait for a medic unless I want to respawn at the main base. Okay, oh, I want to use that weapon. Oh, wait a minute, I'm not the right class. Or, well, holy shit, it's taking so long to reload this rocket launcher. It's like, yeah, like, the community has the mentality, like, if they release a military simulation on the consoles, they have to market it like, this is different. This is not your Call of Duty. This is not your Battlefield. This is a military simulation where this shit is gonna get real.
Exactly.
So other than that, again, like previous systems, they did meddle around with it for a little bit. Again, like even the original Xbox had Operation Flashpoint.
I mean, hey, the Dreamcast and the PlayStation had Rainbow Six,
Yeah, like
and it was a pretty faithful representation.
there was, people did buy it. There was a demand and stuff like that. Now it's like, they just have to market it really well and just kind of make sure to give everyone a heads up, like, hey, this is going to be different. This is not your ordinary shooter.
Exactly.
So, other than that, I think we pretty much hit the nail on the head at this point. Any last things you want to say?
I'd like to see where it goes, but I'm still gonna play my MilSims on PC.
Same here. Like, I would love to see a MilSim on the consoles. I would love to definitely see one. But, when in doubt, go with the PC.
Yep.
So, that's it for today, folks. Thanks, Anubis, for checking in again.
Thanks for having me.
And make sure, folks, you check out his website at She's Lost Control Media. Links will be provided down below. Also, folks, if you enjoy military simulation games like Armas or Squad, post it down there in the comment box of what you think. Will games like that appear on the current gen systems like the PS4, Xbox One? Post it down there. Don't forget to like, and if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button for the most up-to-date content. This is the Geeky Panda and TimeEnforcer Anubis here on the Geeky Panda blog signing out. And remember, stay geeky, my friends.